Human Warfront was a nightmare. Alien veteran tells all. I was there when the first bullet was fired. Not plasma, not pulse. A projectile, primitive, crude, and yet it ripped through Captain Veltharn like he was made of paper. My name is Zarntrell, former infantry commander of the 7th Legion under the conglomerate Unity Pact, a coalition of 17 alien civilizations. We were sent to Earth to establish dominance, control the species, assimilate or subjugate. That was the order. We didn't expect the nightmares. They called it Operation Pacify, Terra. Intelligence briefings were clear. Humans were young, scattered, and technologically backward. They had no central planetary governance, fragmented military doctrine, and an unhealthy addiction to digital distractions. Easy pickings. That's what the High Command said. They lied. We landed on the outskirts of a city they called Kabul. We expected disorganized resistance, maybe some ground skirmishes. Nothing our shock troopers couldn't suppress. We were wrong by a magnitude of cosmic error. The first thing that hit us wasn't weapons. It was silence. Eerie, unnatural silence. We moved in with aerial support, drones scanning every inch of terrain, but something was off. The humans weren't running. They were waiting. And then we saw them. No uniforms. No rank insignias. Just eyes. Cold, dead, determined eyes. Men and women, young and old, holding weapons built from iron, steel, wood, archaic, yet effective. Our scans underestimated them because we didn't realize Earth's most dangerous weapon was never their tools. It was their will. The ambush was swift. Our drop ships exploded mid-hover from something called RPGs. Our armor, designed to deflect energy-based weapons, was useless against their kinetic bullets. One of my lieutenants, Graxel, took a shot straight to the head from 2 kilometers away. His skull disintegrated before we could even respond. The humans called it a sniper. That word still haunts me. We retreated, regrouped, re-strategized. High Command called us cowards, demanded we re-engage. So we did. We deployed sonic suppression fields, heat fogs, even anti-gravity traps. The humans adapted within hours. Hours. I remember a boy, couldn't have been older than 12 Earth cycles, crawling through the mud with explosives strapped to his chest. He smiled as he pulled the trigger. A smile. No fear. No hesitation. Just resolve. He took 3 of my best soldiers with him. They weren't fighting for survival. They were fighting for legacy. A week into the campaign, we learned they had names for us. Invaders, bugs, aliens. But the one that stuck, the one that boiled our blood, was meat. We eat meat, one of their broadcasts said. Let them come. We intercepted their transmissions. No encryption. Open frequency. They wanted us to hear. We shifted tactics, started night raids. But the humans were nocturnal predators. They saw better in the dark than we did, and they used the terrain like it was an extension of their own bodies. Forests, deserts, mountains, nothing slowed them. They climbed trees like beasts, tunneled underground, even used animals against us. Wolves, birds, insects. Once, an entire battalion was wiped out by a swarm of bees led into our outpost with pheromones. We laughed when we heard it, until we saw the footage. They suffocated. Suffocated under stingers and wings. The worst came in the 3rd month. We entered what their maps called Russia. Our plan was to overwhelm their winter sectors before their reinforcements arrived. We didn't know what Russian winter meant. Our systems froze. Engines died. Weapons jammed. We were blind and immobile. The humans weren't. They came wearing white. Camouflaged. Ghosts in the snow. No warning. No sounds. Just bullets whistling through the air. They didn't aim to injure. They aimed to mutilate. My second-in-command, Kelleran, was found hanging from Pine Tree. His body frozen, his limbs broken, and a message carved into his chest in their language. This is mercy. We begged for extraction. High Command denied us. Adapt or die, they said. So we did what they feared most. We learned. We stopped fighting by the book. We fought like them. Guerrilla tactics, deception, ambushes. But the humans were always one step ahead. Always. They hacked our translation programs, turned our HUDs into gibberish. They poisoned our food supplies with something called ghost peppers. Entire squads suffered hallucinations for days. One soldier, Trennick, gouged out his own eyes, screaming about red demons. And still, they kept coming. Months turned into years. Reinforcements dwindled. Supplies dried up. We lost contact with command. And the humans never tired. We tried peace talks. Sent envoys with white flags. They shot them. Every time, one survivor reported the words of a human commander. You don't negotiate with monsters who burn children. And they were right. In desperation, we activated the Scorched Earth Protocol. Destroyed entire villages. Nuked forests. Bombarded coastlines. And the humans, they thanked us. Because now they didn't have to worry about hiding. It all came to a head in what they called Chicago. Final stand. We had gathered our last legions. Over 40,000 elite soldiers, mech walkers, orbital drones. They sent farmers, factory workers, children with guns. And yet, they broke us. Not with force, with spirit. We captured one of their leaders, a woman named Major Sarah Kwan. She was covered in burns, missing an arm, bleeding from her mouth. We offered her medicine, sanctuary life. She spat in my face. You'll never own us, she said. We don't die for leaders. We die for each other. And that was when I realized we were already defeated. Because we fought for orders. They fought for love. The last thing I remember from Earth was fire. Endless fire. And the sound of them singing. Not war cries. Singing. A song about not going gently into the night. They don't know what surrender means. They don't know what fear is. We left Earth in pieces, broken, shamed. Millions of us died. For what? A planet of apes with too much heart? I testified at the war tribunal. Told them everything. How we weren't fighting a species. We were fighting a force of nature. High Command called me a traitor. Disgraced. Stripped of rank. I don't care. I keep a picture of her. Major Sarah Kwan. Not out of hate. Out of respect. They asked me if I'd ever return to Earth. I said only as a corpse. Let this be a warning to every empire, every species with conquest in their blood. Do not invade Earth, because humans aren't the strongest. They're not the fastest, they're not the most advanced. But they're the last thing you'll ever fight. And they'll make sure you never forget it.